It was only just last year, you see, when the news of blindness came, and the one thing that I knew for sure, my life would never be the same.
Retinitis pigmentosa, or RP, is a genetically inherited eye disorder. It affects your peripheral vision and they have a very limited central vision. At the moment, there are no treatment or cure for RP.
My name's Dave Steele, and what I do has changed in the last couple of years since I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa. And I can remember doing the test, and it was a young girl, one of the assistants in the opticians who was doing it with me, and I got to the stage where she knew I was sat there and I couldn't see any of the lights flashing off, and I wasn't clicking the button. And she asked me if I was okay, and I just couldn't see them.
Day to day, the main problem really is Dave's independence. Dave doesn't like the fact that he has to rely on me for things. So obviously with Christopher, he won't have to do that now.
Still got my guide dog. I've been reliant on my wife, on Amy. So it's quite weird. It feels good, but strange at the same time.
Because to look at Dave, you wouldn't know, unless he's with the dog or the cane, necessarily that there's anything wrong with him. And I get, anxious, and am I keeping him safe enough? And, I can kind of, when he holds on to me, he almost grips. When he's more anxious, he kind of gets a tighter grip, which then makes me worry and think, am I doing a good enough job? Or, should I do something different? Or should I kind of, let him find his own way and then he'll get me if he needs me? So Christopher, is going to make a massive difference to both of us.
My purpose in the future seemed to me now so unclear. If anything was positive, then I refused to hear. Frustration grew inside me as the bruises they increased. As some friends slipped away from me, my social life deceased. It's kind of weird being out in Prestwich on my own, really. Obviously, I've got Christopher with me, but it's the first time I've done this in probably about 2 years. The way I look at things now, especially from what I've learned in the last 2 years, is you've got to celebrate your victories. So every little victory is a success. But also, there's a long way to go. This is just the beginning of some big steps of getting back out there again. I remember taking my daughter out to a bowling place just before Christmas, and she wanted a game of table hockey. And normally you play your little girl and you let them win, but really she beat me. She kicked my ass because I was just going like that in the hope I'd hit something because I couldn't see it. I tried to get the help I need, but no one seemed to listen. To keep a roof above our heads became my only mission.
And then it was break. Then after break we did some maths. And then I went out with Mr. Reynolds to do area and perimeter. And then Okay.
Retreated from the outside world for feeling vulnerable. I knew that one day help would come and prayed it's not too late. We had an initial chat when, not long after we met, probably about a month after we met, and he said it was in his family, but it wasn't a big deal. We had the chat and he just said his mum had it and one of his sisters had it at the time, and that he had the early onset from about his early 20s, and that was kind of where we left it, because it wasn't, at the time we first met 4 years ago, it wasn't a big issue in our lives.
I probably was in denial, as a lot of people are with RP. It's an invisible disability, as in there's no outward signs of blindness or what you'd commonly think a blind person should look like. It was progressive very slowly in my case. From my early 20s, I didn't need to really let it affect my life until it actually did really affect my life, which was 2 years ago.
He lost his job, he lost his confidence. He for about the past 18 months, until he got the guide dog, which is only the last few weeks, he wouldn't go out the house without me. So he was kind of recluse unless he went out the house with me.
You've got the ticking time bomb of how long my sight's going to go, or going to last for, and also my children as well, which is that's the big factor for me. That's the hard one to deal with. For them to have to live or go through what I've been through with my sight and have to deal with the way I see things, it scares me, but at the same time it also spurs me on, because I want to make them proud and I want to show them what you can do, because there's a lot more to me than my eyes. What I've had to deal with and go through with my sight loss in the last 2 years, and the way I've dealt with it, that's not down to my eyes, that's down to me and what's in here, and the sort of person I am, and it's brought out that person.
I went to the opticians with him for the tests, so I found out at the same time he did. We just felt numb, really. We're happy, we're so happy. We've got 4 gorgeous children. We got married just over a year ago. It's, amazing, it's beautiful, it's hard sometimes. But I wouldn't change it or him for the world.
My wife picked up the pieces whilst my children looked afraid. This blindness taking things we'd built and future plans we'd made.
What we've been through since we met, not just the RP, but the past 4 years, we can get through anything. So we're not, although we are slightly worried about the future, we're not worried about, coping with it together, because we will. So here I am now asking you to help me change my life and lift the pain of blindness that sometimes can cut like knife.
So share my words around the globe, then one day they'll all know, for this is the beginning and we have a way to go. This is my story.